One woman has started a war on TikTok after claiming that we are living in a chopped man epidemic.
TikTok sucks.
We just heard her. She interrupted us. But this is her claim. Men are so ugly these days that when she sees an attractive man in public, it truly makes her day, maybe even her week, because it's such a rare occurrence to see a man who isn't chopped. Which, if you didn't know, from our talk about Gen Alpha slang, that's a term for ugly that they use.
I encourage everyone to, like, if you can be delusional enough to take this position, then the best thing you can do is be delusional enough to, like, believe that you're the handsome one she's talking about. Mm-hmm. Then you're both walking a path of delusion.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Well, let's hear her out.
Okay.
So as we're all very much aware, we are living through a chopped man epidemic, and there's a big shortage of baddies. It's gone so bad to the point that, like, if I see an attractive man, it genuinely makes my day. I was walking on the sidewalk earlier, and I saw a cute guy in his car, so I waved to him, and he smiled back at me. And obviously he drove away after that. But I was like, oh my God, a cute guy? This was at 6:50 p.m. It's 7:17, and I'm still like, oh my God. And I feel like this is going to empower me through my evening. Like, wow, I actually saw an attractive man today. Like, diamond in the rough, needle in the haystack. Seriously.
Okay. And then I should say, for those listening rather than watching, she is being called mid by the comments. You one of us, gang. It's always
I'm in the
wars. Mirror, mirror on the wall. We whatever you say, young man.
Yeah,
you're in the same league as us.
The most brutal comment said all this male on male violence needs to stop.
No self-awareness epidemic. Why is this young man talking about cute boys? You're the wrong messenger. God is testing me today. Countless comments like this.
It is purely narcissistic, because if it had just been like, I don't see any men and women having earnest moments together, and then I smiled at a guy and he smiled back and there was no mention of being attractive, then every comment would be positive. But it was not that.
Well, there was so much controversy around this one TikTok video that a lot of women felt they needed to take her side and defend her in this war, and say they agree that we are living in a chopped man epidemic, and that this TikToker in question is beautiful. That she's stunning and brave. So let's hear from the women who are on her side in this battle.
Or on the side of the chop man epidemic girl. She's right. Y'all are ugly, you don't put effort into your appearances, you don't have hobbies, and you expect women to want you. And you're gonna screenshot pictures of me and her while she's talking in an effort to make her feel ugly, when in reality, you would cry of happiness if me or her or any of the women in her comment section touched you with a 10-foot pole. Why? Because you're a virgin. And let me make one thing clear. I'm not saying this applies to every single person who might disagree that there's a chop man epidemic. All I'm saying is, men didn't used to have to put that much effort into having an actual personality because they had a bank account. And until the 1980s, women couldn't own those. We couldn't even own our own businesses until the 90s. So you have to put more effort into being an actually cool person in order for people to want to spend time with you. Going and calling every woman you see that you don't like ugly isn't doing your track record any favors. Go read a book or something. I don't know, play a game.
That little girl that little boy, I don't know what the deal is. Pete Buttigieg makes a good point that she's saying men are more chopped than ever. Honestly, I think the chop-epidemic goes across all genders. I do think that's the thing. That being said, she did harken back to the 60s, 50s, 40s. She said the men weren't chopped then. So,
which of course she doesn't know because she wasn't alive.
Well, I think she's saying they were maybe chopped, but they had more to offer because women were oppressed.
Yes.
And
look, whatever her reasoning is, I do agree we need to go back. That being said, everyone is more chopped these days.
That is true.
Like, have you been on Hinge? I mean, what are we doing here?
This is true.
It's like a fun house on there.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I totally agree that there's a chopped issue. I mean, there's a chopped house now on TikTok. There's a whole this community of chopped people.
So it's the Bop House, but for chopped people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's huge. There's
and they identify as chopped.
There's like 50 people in there. And it's huge because everyone can relate. And it's a really alarming thing that this chopped up neck. So I do encourage RFK to really investigate this. I don't know if it's the seed oils or
Take that,
blue
you
light.
incel.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but
And then there was another woman saying the chopped man epidemic girl is pretty and correct. You guys are just gooner brain rotted.
whoa.
The craziest thing
Shots fired.
about the war going on against the chopped man epidemic girl is that she's actually quite beautiful. Hello? She's actually quite beautiful. Like, actually, dare I say, more than conventionally attractive. But you guys are brain-rotted gooner freaks. And proving her point. You're proving her point. All you guys do is goon. You goon to weird-looking alien plastic surgery messed-up-looking porn stars on Twitter, or freaky little anime characters that look like they're 5 years old. But actually, if my sister was reincarnated as a slime, the character is 14,000 years old, so technically she's over 18. You guys are fucking weird. Normal human women don't have lips so big they look like they could explode if you chewed too hard, and a nose so small that you can't even breathe. Okay? Sorry. You guys are just weird gooner freaks and you don't know how to get off to a normal looking woman because you're so used to weird shit on the internet. And you don't have any hobbies. And the craziest thing is women's standards are a lot lower than you think. All you have to do is maybe go to the gym a little bit, take a shower, and have a nice haircut. And guess what? There are cures to male baldness. There are so many cures to male baldness. You don't have an excuse. Get some rosemary oil, get a scalp massager, and get on Rogaine. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, they're hating us for things we can't control. Yeah, you can control male baldness. You can control your beer belly, and you can control your off-putting, strange personality that you have because you don't have hobbies.
All right, first of all, brain-rotted gooner freaks built this country. Ask George. Like, look at George. Do you think George Washington was a Boy Scout? I mean,
What?
seriously, like, what are we doing here?
George Washington was a gooner? Gooner
Dude, he
Washington?
had wooden teeth. You think that just happens? You think that just happens to you? So she needs to
Okay.
watch her mouth and read some history.
So, it seems like their complaint isn't with men being born ugly. They think that men aren't doing enough to compensate for that in other areas. That was one that they both repeated. You don't have hobbies. You need to get hobbies. I hear men say the same thing about women, like that they don't have enough hobbies.
Yeah.
And then
both-
she slams gooning. That's a hobby.
And you're supposed to like read a book, get a haircut,
I mean,
things
the-
that you can fix about yourself. But you know, you could just as easily say the same thing to women. They just wouldn't be receptive to the message.
I mean, the part at the end about having an off-putting personality means that she has zero self-awareness.
That's true. And also, she'd be the first person to dunk on Jeff Bezos. He's doing everything. He's taking care of himself. He's groomed. I don't know about his personality. He's rich. Oh, he's not good enough. He's literally, that's personality. He's like buying off
We
Venice.
have a 20
Yeah.
from 420 Funny. I may be ugly, but good personality and
Whoa.
8 inches has done me well enough in life.
Oh, he's talking about the spine of a book.
Yeah,
He's saying he
that's
reads
exactly
a lot.
what he's
Yeah,
talking
he
about.
reads a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, and given
He's
the
an
topic,
intellectual.
given the
Yeah.
topic that we're going to cover later about women and their reading material, I'd say that they're the good.
You're already ahead of the game for sure.
yeah.
I've been in awkward situations with female friends before, who are talking about dating and, you know, they want to find a guy and everything, and that's perfectly normal. But I don't know how to tell them, like, you have a mustache, you're overweight. Like,
Right.
how do women receive that type of advice? It's definitely not something that they are generally receptive to hearing. Like, you could improve yourself in some way. That's something that most people these days aren't willing to hear.
Like,
is that you could improve yourself in some way and you have control over your life.
I'm sorry, but like all three of those women, the first one was like an Asian 2, and the second one was a Christina Grimmie creepypasta,
Speak on it.
and the third one looked like Danielle Panabaker drawn from memory.
I've
So-
seen those three ladies at a Dollar General. That's all I'm going to say.
No, but they
and that's-
believe
and
that
that's
they're
fine,
gorgeous.
and that's fine. All of those are fine. Like I say, like I'm not a prize, but I'm not sitting here saying that women should up their
Oh,
standards.
and another complaint that they have about the chopped men and the chopped men epidemic is that these chopped men in question expect to date women who are way out of their league. But then I feel like if you just went outside and interacted with people, you would see the chopped people are dating other chopped people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People tend to just match up with people who are similar attractiveness to them.
Well, I mean, doesn't that usually go the other way, specifically for men? Because men with money will date that are not attractive, will have much more attractive girlfriends because they're successful. Sorry, I'll do the ladies' version about that. It's not because he's rich; it's because he's driven and he's successful. It's not that he has money; it's that he's driven and he cares about his career.
Yeah.
It's not because he has money.
Just watch the dating show with the balloons where they pop. As soon as the guy comes, like, "What do you do for work?" "I'm a hustler." "I'm a," boom, 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 boom. So he's driven. He's hustling, and as was not good enough. Also, I think what the element that's really at play here is these women are slamming chop men. Okay, even if their points are all correct, coming from another woman, it's not right. It's insulting. Because your friend would be like, "You're fat, you're gay, or you're retarded," and you'd be like, "Yeah, I guess I kind of am." But then when a woman calls you a gooner, that's just like totally off
It was
limits.
like the one when we were talking
them on the
about with.
defense.
It was like when Alex Clark was talking about like men, like you should track your woman's period, and I was like, okay, like even if that's true, you're as a guy, the only person you're gonna take that advice from is like a dude who's been married for 20 years. He's like, "Look, you're looking for a shortcut. I've been
it
married
was
for."
because her advice was not about fertility tracking.
No, it was about
the advice
preventing
was
arguments.
You have to keep track of her menstrual cycle
Treat
to
her like a
avoid
child.
catastrophic arguments and time when you bring up troubling topics in conversation.
When a guy brings that up and he gives you that advice, he's like, "Look, I've been married for 20 years. This is a great shortcut to avoid unnecessary arguments with your wife." When a woman tells you that, she's saying, "I don't want to be responsible for my own actions, so you should treat me like a toddler and do the work for me."
It's also not normal, I should add, to become a completely
If a-
different person based on the phase of your menstrual cycle.
Like,
That
if a girl's
seems like
like-
a mental disorder.
If she's like, "Look, I'm yelling at you and hitting you, but it's because I'm in my luteal phase."
But
like,
to your point, this is a message that is better received by men from another man, and there's no shortage of content from male influencers talking about self-improvement and fitness and reading books and having hobbies, okay?
and none
There's
of
no
these-
shortage of that.
None of these women are doing it to give you advice in good faith.
No.
They're doing it to be mean.
And
Yeah,
it'd be
yeah.
even worse if it was a hot woman saying that, because at least, like, you know, they're kind of chops. You're like, okay, well, she's familiar with the community. But when it's like a really attractive person telling you, like, "Hey, that's punching down. That's not right."
Yeah.
Well, she also followed up with a couple more videos where, first off, she said that flirting from chopped men is called jump scare flirting. And
That's actually really funny. Like you're trying to trick them into like a moment of like weakness, or like, okay, yeah, I'll go out with you.
her point isn't that they're shockingly ugly. Her point is actually that chopped men tend to make sexually inappropriate comments in the middle of conversation, which jump scare the woman and repulse her, which of course is something they should not do. That's like flirting 101.
Don't do that.
I thought you were saying
gentlemen.
they're so
Yeah.
chopped. That's
Like,
whoa.
she's like, "I was just walking down the street, and then he walked out, like liminal spaces. He walked out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, ah!"
And she's also identifying herself as a scientist who is
Whoa.
investigating and studying the chopped man epidemic, and she gave a case study of herself of how she went from chopped to not chopped, and it involves, you know, outfit change, good haircut, you know, she's wearing makeup at the end of the video, just basic things you can do and execute these basic tips to no longer be chopped.
And those tips won't work because RFK has already proven that this is the situation. There is a chop epidemic, and he's like, "You need to inject whale urine into your abdomen," and it's like, thank
solution
you,
is
some
very
actual
simple.
solutions.
Yes.
Instead of this garbage, get
Yeah.
a haircut. Okay, relax, lady.
But it's funny that there are so many, you know, male self-improvement influencers, and then when women try to do the same thing, they get shouted down and shamed and banned for it. As we were talking about Liv Schmidt yesterday, the skinny talk influencer, women hate her guts. They absolutely hate her because she tries to offer them real self-improvement advice. They
That's
cannot
'cause
receive it.
requires a certain level of personal responsibility to take the advice and then act on it.
Yeah.
Whereas men might, you know, in a broad generalization, be more inclined to the idea of personal improvement, and the ones that aren't going to care enough to comment on it. Because they're not talking down to them. Guys will comment on those types of comments if it's from a woman and it feels like they're being talked down to. But in general, women will feel like they're being talked down to from men and other women.
Well, do you think that people having overly inflated standards for dating is a non-sexed issue?
Yes.
Like it's happening among both men and women in the dating pool?
It's happening. I mean, because people are like, so when the birth rates dropped in the West, they're like, oh, it's economics or whatever, environmental maybe. But then you're seeing birth rates tank in India, and they don't have any of those factors. And I'm like, it's because they're on TikTok and they're seeing very attractive women. What are you gonna do? Marry, like your
Warping
neighbor?
people's brains.
Everybody feels like they're entitled to more.
And everyone's sitting there scratching their heads like, oh, maybe it's maybe there's something in the water. I'm like, no, it's so obvious what's happening here. Because if you've like dated, if you're in that world, you think you elevate your standards because that's what you're seeing on your phone, and you're like, oh, well, I could have that. Like, that's 100% why the birth rates are dropping in third world countries. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should take people's phones away.
I think that the
or show them more chopped women.
the common sense take here is that there is a generalized chop-epidemic that is affecting all of society.
That's
not
true.
just men, not just women.
That's 100% true.
And everyone could do with a little bit of self-improvement.
Yeah, just go to the DMV. You'll see the chop-epidemic on full display.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.